Have you ever wondered why you might call a coworker lazy for being late, but when you're late, it's because of traffic? Yeah, we all do it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the automatic and sometimes flawed judgments our brains make every single day.
Okay, let's dive right in with a little thought experiment. So picture this. A coworker completely whiffs on a huge deadline. The project's behind schedule now because of them. What's that very first gut reaction thought that pops into your head? Be honest.
Do you immediately think, typical, they're just so lazy and disorganized? Or does your mind go to, whoa, something serious must have happened for them to miss this? See, those are two totally different conclusions. And that mental path you take to get to one or the other, well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. We're going to break it all down in 5 quick parts. First, we'll ask why we even bother explaining behavior. Then we'll look at the 2 main ways we do it. After that, we uncover our brain's biggest, and I mean biggest, shortcut. Then we'll see how the rules totally change when it's about us. And finally, we'll tie it all together to see why this actually matters in your day-to-day life.
So first things first, why do we do this? Why are we constantly trying to be detectives about people's actions? Well, it's simple, really. We are hardwired to make sense of the world. Explaining why someone did something makes us feel like we can predict what they'll do next. It's our brain trying to put some order into a very messy and unpredictable social world.
Now, this deep-seated need to explain things isn't just random guesswork. Nope. It actually follows some pretty predictable patterns, and psychologists have been studying these patterns for decades, all under one big idea. And that big idea is called attribution theory. It's basically the rule book for how we assign causes to the things that happen around us, both to ourselves and to other people. Think of it like the operating system for your brain's inner judge and jury. So, according to this theory, our brain has a fork in the road. It can take one of 2 paths. The first is an internal attribution. We blame something about the person, their character. The second is an external attribution. We blame the situation, the context. It really boils down to this. Is it about who they are, or is it about what happened to them? Let's circle back to that coworker who missed the deadline. An internal attribution sounds like they just have terrible time management skills. But an external one might be, maybe their internet went out, or maybe the instructions they got were super unclear. It's the same event, but the path you choose, the attribution you make, creates 2 completely different realities.
But here's where it gets really, really interesting. Our brains, they don't exactly weigh these 2 options equally. Oh no. Our brain has a default setting, a favorite mental shortcut that it just loves to take, especially when we're sizing up other people.
And that shortcut has a name, the fundamental attribution error. You can think of it like a little glitch in our social programming, a glitch that, believe me, we all fall for pretty much every single day. So what is this glitch exactly? It's our brain's tendency to put way too much emphasis on someone's personality and way too little on the situation they're in. In other words, when someone else messes up, our automatic default reaction is to blame them, not their circumstances. And you see this everywhere. A driver cuts you off, your brain screams, "What a selfish jerk." That's the error, an internal attribution. You probably don't think, oh, maybe they're rushing to the hospital. A cashier is a little short with you. Your brain says, wow, rude person. Not, maybe they're on hour 10 of a really bad shift. We just consistently jump to conclusions about the person, not the situation. Okay, but get this. Just when you think you've got it figured out, the whole system does a complete 180. It flips on its head the second we start explaining our own behavior. Yep, the rules we use to judge everyone else, they just don't apply to us. And this amazing flip is called the self-serving bias. And it's named perfectly because it's a bias that serves to protect our own ego. You can think of it as your brain's personal PR department, working 24/7 to make sure you always look good. So here's how it works. It's a simple 2-step logic. When we succeed, we take all the credit. It's an internal attribution. I ace that test because I'm smart. But when we fail, we immediately point the finger outward. It's an external attribution. I failed that test because the questions were totally unfair. And this chart just shows you how powerful this bias is. For our successes, the tendency to credit ourselves, the internal attribution, is through the roof. And for our failures, the tendency to blame the situation, the external attribution, is just as high. We make ourselves the heroes of our successes and the victims of our failures.
So let's put it all together. We use the fundamental attribution error when judging others and the self-serving bias when judging ourselves. Now, this might just sound like some fun psychology trivia, but understanding these automatic, deeply ingrained habits, well, it has huge consequences in the real world.
Just knowing these biases exist gives you a superpower, the power to pause. The next time you're about to judge a coworker, you can ask yourself, wait, is this really about them, or is there a situation I'm not seeing? In your relationships, it can be the difference between starting a fight and showing some understanding. And, maybe most importantly, it helps you catch your own excuses when you mess up. It's really the first step to overriding your brain's buggy autopilot and starting to think a little more clearly. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just some abstract theory from a textbook. Every single judgment you make, blaming that driver, giving yourself a pass, it's like laying a brick. And with all those bricks, you are literally building your social reality. These tiny mental habits shape your relationships, your career, and the very lens through which you see the world.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The next time your brain serves up that instant hot take about someone, are you just going to accept it? Are you going to default to blaming the person? Or are you going to pause and for just a second ask, what about the situation? The choice, as it always is yours.